So today we're going to be doing a Loomian Legacy Littlelocke, and obviously the rules are as follows. Obviously, just as any Nuzlocke, we can only catch the first Loomian encountered in each area. If a Loomian faints, it must be boxed. And we'll also be doing with hardcore Nuzlocke rules, so no healing in battles, no over-leveling, and I'll be playing in manual set mode. Without further ado, let's get into this journey. Now, picking a star would be very important, so in the end, I decided to pick Mbit, which I did and end up naming Jalapeno. And since Reburn's base stats look like this, Brawny Foolish is an incredible nature, which I will very much take. And as you can see, these base stats are very befitting for a Littlelocke starter, and just to be bulky. And heading to route 1, we picked up an encounter which was Twiddle, which we ended up naming Wings. We also picked up an encounter in Gale Forest, which actually happens to be an Antsy, which we named Cabbage. And now it's finally time for our first battle. I was quite scared of Duskit, but it never did end up clicking Brainwash, and there was really no risk of clicking Final Ruse with just looking at its energy. So after spamming Singe a few times, we did manage to take it out. And in route 3, we picked up another encounter, which happened to be Geklo, which we named Mango. But now it was finally time to take on our first gym. It was quite easy to breach through the first 2 trainers, which was easily dealt with, but Naya with her 2 Geklos would be a problem. Despite them being annoying to take out, my plan was to switch between Cabbage and Mango to eventually take them out, and on the second one, get Jalapeno in for free so that we would be ready to take on her Kleptyke. And now that we were able to easily get Jalapeno on the field safely, we could easily take out Kleptyke with 2 Singes, and so we had tamed our first battle medal. Jake really was not a problem with our newly evolved Wings, being able to easily take out her Mbit, and obviously we used the same plan to take down his Geklo. Immediately after, we would take on back-to-back our next set of rivals, but it really was not a challenge, and we were easily able to defeat them. And we were to end up picking our Route 4 encounter, which was a Kabunga, which we named Broccoli. We then accepted the Slugling infestation quest so that we could pick up a static encounter, Slugling, which we ended up naming Lettuce. We immediately also get an encounter on Route 5, which is a Baboon named Potato. You guessed it, we also got an encounter, Skilava, which we named Pepper, but I did end up forgetting to record me actually encountering it. We then saved the Battlestar's son, and our reward for that is to fight a corrupted Ikazune. So, I did end up catching the Pagoda Twilight, but with this Ikazune, I had a pretty solid plan, and that was just to use Potato, which did allow us to easily beat it, even though we got burned by the Singe, but it did not really matter. And for the second Battle Theatre, it was a pretty similar to the first one. We easily defeated the first 2 trainers, and with the Battlestar IQO, we used Potato to defeat the Cradle, and then defeated Wispop with Geklo so that we could bait in the Mudsplat from Gracaloa, getting a free switch into Wings, which we was, and then we were able to take out the Gracaloa to get our second medal. We also got a Grubby from the Hyra Cemetery, which we named Lime. And with species clause, the Kabunga we could easily run away from, and our encounter ends up being a Meowcafno, which we name Bursquash. Immediately followed by another encounter on Route 7, which ends up being a Baroach, which we name Dragon Fruits. We would also pick up a Chompactor named Pineapple, but the Junkyard was important for other reasons, since this is where we could get the Drop of Youth. You can probably see the pattern here, but we also picked up the static encounter Terroriti, which we named Orange. But it was time for our second set of battles with Lucas and Lucy, but even in this stage of the game, with their basically non-fully evolved Loomians, we were easily able to defeat their whole teams, and yeah, it's still pretty easy. And after an extremely young Yap session in the Polar Corp, it was finally time to take on the third Battlestar. For her first Loomian, Munchwheel, we were easily able to 1v1 it with Pepper with 2 crits, and even then our damage output was not great. Next up was Conquer John, which was a big problem because of Quicksand, and as you can see here, Quicksand did 9 points of damage, and I made a mistake by clicking Pestilence, as I had to waste another turn. But on the next turn, Headbutt took us down to 8 health, meaning that we would die to the Quicksand damage. But Cabbage decides to hit 5 times to save her own life, and with that we could switch into Mango, and with a few electric type moves we were able to easily take out Stratosaur, which got us the 3rd medal. Beginning our infiltration of Public Court, we find a Scorb, which we name Onion. And after beating this guard, we can go on ahead to fight Corrupted Protagon. Entering this battle, I discovered that leading with Jalapeno may have been a mistake, since obviously my melee defense is higher, giving Protagon range attack increase. However, with the combined efforts of Jalapeno and Lettuce, we were still able to defeat this Protagon. Access to Public Court meant that we could kill Scorbs and get a strong Mallet, allowing us to get a free encounter in Galvanite Cave, which is Copling, which we end up naming Lychee. Moving on to the Route 8 story arc, I decided to first go to Bob's Pond to pick up a free gar piece to avoid getting it anywhere else, and we named it Celery. And for the actual Route 8 encounter, we get an Ampole, which is after all of these duplicate encounters, but after we do get the Ampole, we name it Grape. To make it our 3rd encounter in the Route 8 area, we ride the Ceratops since the only 3rd stage, and we named it Pear. After those encounters, it was time for the possibly most difficult boss battle in this entire playthrough for us, since Samarine would be incredibly strong. Leading off Letters attempting to poison it, we end up getting 1 shot, but the poison from Mystery Toxins may have to save the run. After switching in Cabbage and taking massive damage from a double whack, we Pestilence it to get even more chip damage and continue to spam dodge. After seeing it click Aquajaws, I thought it may not have clicked it again, so I decided to switch into Mango, but it does end up clicking Aquajaws, and Mango gets taken out just like that. Going into Cabbage again, we dodge the attack, and luckily it was out of energy, so we were able to let the poison take it out. After that devastating battle, we were able to pick up our Lotus and Beach encounter, which is a Lumika, which we named Papaya. Quickly moving into Atlantean City, we were able to pick up an encounter which was a Catone, and we named it Kit Kat, but I was very unhappy with the encounters I was getting. After heading to the battle theatre, Meriden comes out, and during the battle, I was quite scared of Guardian's damage output, so I did decide to sack Lemon, the Twilight, which I picked up from the Pagoda, but other than that, we were easily able to win this battle. But here's how the 4th battle theatre went down. After those difficult trainer battles, it was time to take on the actual battle stars. We led with broccoli and orange, and I decided to poison the Lumelo since it was very tanky, and just to nuke Tsukame with a Blossom Shield powered Life Drain. Decided to just take out Tsukame first since it was quite a threat, even though Lumelo was setting up its hazards, and I did not really like that. But the plan for this battle was to sack off orange anyway. After dealing some damage to Cleone, I managed to flinch it with a Bushwhack, and the turn ends with that. Hit it with another Spec, and we live at 1 HP from that stratagem, which is incredibly lucky. And this battle has gone very well, and we're able to take out Cleone, leaving only Lumelo and Jalusa. Although we did let orange die, this let us send in Grape for free. To rest with broccoli and then the Lumelo, since in double battles they only attack the Loomians opposite to you, which was not a great play from me for having Grape on the side, but it worked out in the end since he decided to go for a Magnify, and we were able to get our 4th medal. At the time there was a new update with encounters in Highway Village, so I decided to go for an Umbrella, which I named Carrot. Once again, the Lucas and Lucy double battles, this time with Jake, was still extremely easy. This completely crossed my mind since I didn't want to be prepared for the battle of Dr. Vanta, but I ended up being over-leveled for these previous battles, which meant I could easily one-shot this Makoro. Since we were still quite high level for these people, since Dr. Vanta is quite a huge jump in level and I still don't even know what the next level cap is, I did decide to go to level 48, so that's why. I promise I'm not cheating. Although these battles are back to back, they were still incredibly easy, as you can see. And so I forgot to record me encountering a Samata, which we named Baguette, but it's time to go to Dr. Vanta. was finally time for the final battle of the run, a battle against Dr. Banda Vanta. We begin with Broccoli life draining the Tyrex, and as predicted it goes for a complete demolition, but thanks to our clutch pursuit, we managed to survive, and due to his recharge turn, we were able to beat the Tyrex. Next up is Samarine, a huge obstacle in our way, and we go into Cabbage to tank a Steel Crusher, and we then poison it. However, it gets the attack boost, and so we dodge the next turn to get even more chip on the Samarine, and then we Pestilence it to get even more chip on the Samarine, and here was the problem. I thought it did not have enough energy for another Steel Crusher, but it turns out, thanks to the +1, Aquajaws did end up killing Cabbage. And that was our 5th death. But going into Lychee, we managed to take out a Samarine, and it is also able to 1v1 the Cosmic despite going for a peace of mind, but our Cake Pearl makes us tank the Meteor Smash very well. Next up is Protogun, which I go into Pineapple for a sec, and looking at it from now, my plan with Pineapple really was not well thought out, since I thought I got rev up boost the turn I come in, which meant Pineapple was completely useless in this battle, and I could have sacked it against Samarine instead of Cabbage, but in the end, it was both of them that died. But Grape managed to finish it off both Protogun and Stratosaur, which meant that we had beaten Loomian Legacy as of now, with no fully evolved Loomians as a hardcore Nuzlocke.